It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this mega launch of this amazing book. Everything changed after that. 25 Women, 25 Stories by 25 gifted women authors and edited by none other than Ekta Kapoor. So, to unveil this book, we have our chief guest, Ms. Apurva Purohit, who has kindly agreed to grace the occasion, taking time out of her busy schedule. Thank you, Apurva, for being there. Apurva Purohit is the president of Jagran Group, one of India's largest multimedia conglomerates. With over 3 decades of experience in media and entertainment industry, she leads digital, print, radio, and outdoor in this group. Under Apurva's leadership, Radio City has consistently been ranked fifth in India and sixth in Asia in the Great Places to Work survey. Radio City has been also recognized as one of the best places to work for women in 2019. Isn't that great? A list curated by Outlook Business Magazine. Apurva is a leading voice advocating gender diversity in the Indian business landscape and has authored a national bestseller for working women titled Lady, You're Not a Man. In a recently launched book titled Lady, You're the Boss, Apurva aims to empower women and encourage them to achieve their full potential. Drawing from her personal experiences, she talks about how women minimize themselves, suffer from imposter syndrome, and settle for less than they are capable of because of the external prejudices as well as misguided internal self beliefs. Though through anecdotes and examples, the book suggests ways of overcoming these issues and clear the path towards personal and professional success. Over the years, Apurva has won multiple business awards and has been named as one of the most powerful women in business as per the India Today group and Fortune India. She was amongst LinkedIn's top voices and Your Story's top 10 digital influencers of 2020. On a personal note, I became a huge fan of Apurva after watching her videos on YouTube. And what impressed me beyond words is her simplicity and humility. And it's our honor to have you here, ma'am. Embassy Books is really proud to publish Everything Changed after that. We wish that everything changes after the launch of this book for all of us in a positive way. Now I'd like to request Apurva to say a few words and motivate us, all us writers.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ekta. Thank you all of you for inviting me. And it is such a pleasure to meet such talented, confident, lovely women. And I think it energizes all of us when we spend time with each other. So, from 1750 BC, when Hammurabi wrote his first code, and that is the code that we still follow in some form or manner in our, the moral way we behave, in the social way we behave, in the civil way we behave. And in that code, he had talked about murder. He had said that if a man murders another man, he is punishable by death. If a man kills another man's cattle, he has to give him 4 minas of gold. But if a man kills another man's wife, he has to give 2 pieces of silver. So the price of a woman in 1750 BC was 1/8 that of the cattle. Of course, in the 4,000 years that have passed since, things have changed. Things have obviously improved dramatically, manifold, till a point has come today that in 2021, we are equal. But are we? Are we truly equal, or are we almost equal? And I think in the best of societies, in the most developed of nations, in the most equitable of environments that many of us have grown in, we do believe that, yes, there are still those few inches to cross till all of us can turn around and say, yes, women do hold up 50% of the sky. Because the sad reality is that we still don't hold up that much of an equal part of the sky. And I think it's visible in the kind of gender pay gaps that we see, in the kind of violence that is done at various forums, whether it is the thappad behind closed doors in fancy localities, as it is about the stories that we hear every day coming out of places like Unnao, etc. Apart from this very visible inequality, I also believe that at a very covert level, there is a fair amount of cutting down to size that is always being done with women at all levels. So this bonsaiing of women that happens, this bonsaiing that society does in a very covert, subtextual manner, where women are told that you can't do this, you can't become a fighter pilot, you're not good at maths, you're a woman, you cannot drive, you can't do heavy lifting, how can you work in a manufacturing environment, how can you wear red lipstick, how can you wear short clothes, how can you talk loudly, how can you laugh loudly. I know friends of mine who say that we were always told, daan dikhakar mat hasa karo. So there have been, at every point in my time, we are told what you can't do, what you should not do, what you should not laugh loudly, uproariously. The way we bring up our sons is so different from the way we bring up our daughters. And I think in this cutting down to size that happens of women, in this bonsaiing that happens of women, our opinions have ceased to matter because our voices are not loud enough. Our voices are not strong enough. And several times we ourselves give up the fight. Chodo na, why do I pick up this battle too? But then you and I know that Rosa Parks picked up that battle and said, I will not get up from this seat. And that was the beginning of the end of segregation. And therefore, each woman, in a small way or a big way, standing up to be counted, standing up to say, I want my voice to be heard, will collectively ensure that the voices of women are heard. And once the voices of women are heard, our opinions will matter. As a group, as a cohort, as a sisterhood, we will be able to stand up and say, I mattered. My presence on this earth was significant because my voice got heard. Which is why I think this book is so very seminal, because it's the voice of 25 of the best of best. It's the voice of 25 women. It's the voice of 25 strong stories. And within these stories are stories of 25 lakh, 25 crore, 25 million other women. And that is why this book is so powerful. And, I got the book just a couple of days ago. I glanced through it. I read a couple of stories. And I think the way you have captured different emotions, different feelings. So there is a sense of sadness in stories like A Promise is a Promise by Natasha Sharma. There is a there is a sense of good cheer and happiness in stories from like The Car Keys by Nupur Joshi Bapat and my friend Sulekha Bajpayee's story of Navjot Nubhonu. There is a sense of optimism in stories like Jalebi by Rena Lopez. But the stories may be very different. The underlying fact in all these stories is the female gaze. This is how women look at the world. These are feelings of women. These are the emotions that a woman goes through. This is her perspective. And that, I believe, is the unifying thread of all these stories, that every woman at the end of the day is the same. And I think that's the joy that we draw from each other. Our experiences may be different, they may go along different paths, but at the root, we are a sisterhood, we are a community. And to me, this book also embodies the feeling of community that is so much required in today's day when all of us are isolated away from each other. With this, I would like to congratulate each of you, because for me, as I said, this says that not only these 25 women who've written the book matter, but every woman on this planet matters. So, congratulations to all of you, and I wish all success to each of you and to the book.
Thank you so much, Apurva. Thank you for these motivating words and how well this was put that every woman represents so many other women in the universe. So it is not about one woman, but it is about several women that one woman is representing. Beautiful. Thank you so much.